Discussing diet and breast cancer is really important because there's so much misinformation out there, and that can lead to a lot of confusion. It can lead to people cutting out a lot of different food groups or specific foods, when actually the recommendation is, where possible, to eat a balanced diet, following the Eat Well guide and making sure that you are enjoying your food as well.
Can I still eat sugar if I have breast cancer?
The quick answer is yes, you can eat sugar. This is a really complex area and there's a lot of research that has gone into this. All our cells in our body utilize sugar as their energy source, and this is included in the cancer cells. But by stopping eating sugar does not mean that the cells won't grow and your cancer will stop. What we do recommend is minimizing the additional sugars in our diet where possible if you are eating well, and that can help improve a healthy, balanced diet.
Can I eat soya if I have breast cancer?
At present, the recommendations are to have soya as part of a healthy, balanced diet. And there is emerging evidence that in fact it might help minimize the risk of recurrence by eating soya as part of your diet. At present, we wouldn't recommend having it in supplement form as that has not been researched enough.
Can I eat dairy if I have breast cancer?
In terms of dairy, we would recommend having dairy as part of a balanced diet. There is no evidence to state that having a dairy-containing diet increases your risk of getting breast cancer, nor can increase your risk of recurrence at this stage. The World Cancer Research Fund does recommend eating dairy.
Do I need to follow a special diet if I have breast cancer?
There is no evidence of following a special diet for breast cancer. There are lots of different diets out there that are recommended specifically for breast cancer, with the alkaline diet being one of those. There is no evidence to recommend that following an alkaline diet will help reduce your risk of cancer or help kill the cancer if you already have been diagnosed.
Can I still eat processed foods?
The current evidence does recommend that we reduce down the amount of processed and ultra-processed foods in our diet, and that's for everybody, not just people with cancer. But it is important to recognise that this can be incredibly difficult, as the processed foods can make up quite a large proportion of our diet. It is important to consider, if you are struggling with your eating or you're struggling to take the time to prepare food, that sometimes we might need to rely on more processed foods, and that is okay in certain circumstances.
What are superfoods, and should I be eating them?
Superfoods is actually a marketing term and it has no scientific basis. So there are no single foods they would recommend that you actually definitely have to take in your diet or definitely have to avoid. Having what is these coined superfoods as part of a balanced diet is absolutely fine to have.
Just because a research study says a certain food causes cancer, should I trust it?
It's always important to look at how the research was conducted, over what time frame and who the subjects were, making sure that it's looking at the same tumour group and a large enough subject group. It's really important to not focus our recommendations solely on one study, and that's where organisations like the World Cancer Research Fund can help us, because they look at a wide range of research into the same area to come up with their recommendations. If you are confused or have seen some information about a new study, it's really important to go and speak to your treatment team, and they should be able to help advise you and let you know if there's any change in the recommendations as a result.
Where can I find reliable information about diet and breast cancer?
Unfortunately, there is loads of misinformation out there on the internet, and a lot of information out there can be anecdotal rather than actually focusing on what the scientific evidence does state at the moment. Also, people can be extrapolating from studies that are done on mice, and that doesn't necessarily translate into what would happen in a human as well. What we would recommend is always thinking about where you're getting your evidence from. Charities such as Breast Cancer Now or NHS websites can be great options to go for. If you have any questions or concerns about diet or breast cancer, or you're considering making major changes to your diet, then we would recommend contacting your GP or treatment team.
You can also contact us at Breast Cancer Now, and you can do that by contacting the nurses via the helpline or through our Ask Our Nurse service.